started a business, but you have a job, or you're on welfare. It can help you if you do. Be doers of the word, all right? From rage to responsibility. From rage. That's what I write about in the first chapter, especially how I overcame. Scam. How the black leadership exploits black Americans. They are using them, and blacks are too willing to be used. And then my last book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. They are all amazing books, and they are helpful. Go to rebuildingtheman.com if you want an autographed copy, or call 800-411-2663. Isn't he Mexican?
Colombian.
He calls himself American.
What is this?
Anchor Baby.
And in this corner, it's the American Anchor Baby.
Daddy's home.
That's an offensive term. People find that hurtful.
You mean it's not politically correct? Excuse me. I'll use the word anchor baby. You know, he's an anchor baby in Canada.
Tell him we still rolling with Trump, too.
Anchor baby, the whole thing sounds horrific. You're just making it sound like immigrants are these horrific, greedy people.
Ustedes pueden aceptar mi negocio o aceptar las consecuencias. Plata o plomo.
So you would be considered white, in my opinion.
You the blackest one in this room.
I think so.
And what happened was his mama got pregnant on the other side of the border, and then a few hours before, just before it was time for him to pop out, she jumped across the border and let him fall on American soil. So he became the anchor baby. You don't call him the anchor baby for nothing. Amazing.
We like this anchor baby, right?
Hello, I'm the American Anchor Baby, and this is my show. Thanks for tuning in on this fine Wednesday. What a fine Wednesday it is to be back with you today on this fine Wednesday. A pleasure as always. And I got a bit of a show for you today. Going to be getting into a number of things. Things on my mind, you know, this war stuff, we might finally get to it, but I can't get over the male men individuals. You know, we love Trump, the administration, we want the best to happen. And I know that people are looking at the political moves, the minutia, who's getting fired, because it might mean many things. There's this internal struggle that we might speak a little bit about, because I'm focused on what I'm focused on is them running around, gallivanting around with their wives. We'll get into it. You know, there's importance there that I don't quite understand. But there's an internal struggle, okay? And essentially, this internal struggle the thinking is, and the evidence seems like it's the deciding factor on what America will do with Iran. Iran? War is nothing to play around with, right? But, okay, we'll be getting into that and a number of things, okay? Because there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. Something someone said earlier today that I thought was uncontroversial. And I almost made it the title of my show, but cooler heads and smarter minds prevailed. So that is why I did not name the title of my show. And I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do such a thing, but I did not name the title of my show Death to Carmelo Anthony, legally, through legal means, of course, like via the death penalty or other way. You know, it was just an interesting conversation someone brought up. I wouldn't do such a thing, though. A fascinating conversation. Look, there's plenty of things to get into. What can I say? 888-775-3773 if you want to call in into the show, get something off your mind here. Whatever's on your mind, you could call in, get on hold. A little housekeeping here. I'm live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. Live on rumble.com/American Anchor Baby. So thanks to my viewers there, my supporters. Punchy.tv. You guys are making accounts and I love it. Thank you. Punchy.tv/Anchor Baby. We got DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. And all of my lovely viewers here on YouTube. Welcome, everybody. Present. Everybody's present. Hands up. Hit the like button. Show some decorum. Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Just sit there. Like, okay, I'm just going to sit here. And I don't even say hello. You're not even going to jump into the chat and say hello. All right, so what else? What else here? What else do we got? Man, thank you, Chaos Confessional. I appreciate someone enjoys it. Thank you so much. Who else? What else? That's it, pretty much. Let's jump right in because the folks are coming into the chat. They're rolling in, kicking it back. So what else here? That's pretty much all the housekeeping, right? I said we just jump in because I can't let it go. I can't let it go, and it matters because war is supposedly, allegedly afoot. And I'm like, okay, well, who's handling it? Who's handling it? I think men are handling it, right? Trump administration, get it done. Whatever has to be done, I believe you're doing the right thing, right? Because it's like, oh, we don't want war. But, you bomb a couple of Houthis, and now everybody, you bomb a couple of Houthis, and everybody's like, oh, my gosh, what is this warlord president? Oh, I didn't vote for this. It's like, calm down. They're doing that for us. It's like you bomb some Houthis and everybody loses their head here. It's like, we're messing around, but if you know anything about the Houthis and Yemen, they're holding up trade, okay? They're literally like pirates. They're like pirates. There's literally pirates out there. And they're like, no, because of Israel and all this war stuff, we're going to shake things up, all right? And that's how things go in war. Fine, but I'm just saying that's hilarious. There's pirates. So let Trump deal with the pirates. I really don't know the nitty-gritty details, but there seems to be this struggle. And it does center around some names like Pete Hegseth. Now, he's an interesting fella. I saw him on Fox, and I was wondering, I had to ask James, was Pete Hegseth in the government before his position now? And he wasn't. He was on Fox, and he was a fine dude. He was in the military. Now, that's what he was. He was in the military before all that. But he's always been an interesting guy. This outside pick, concerning the mess, the swamp that by now, the government, everything. But again, I don't know. It's not like I knew that much about him or anything like that. Like, I just trust Trump's picks. Do what you got to do. And then I see this media attack. They're going after him. And he's had a bit of a pass with the media. They go after them in certain ways, especially if they have colorful histories that are not. And I say this with an asterisk because the worst we can even allege that happened with Pete Hegseth and possible females in the past is what? Consensual stuff that, and then question marks. Oh, he's a player? He's a cheater? He's a cheater. Have a little more self-control right there, Pete Hegseth. But what do you want me to do? Finger wag? Like, do your job right, and I hope you do it well. If there's something more concerning than he's a cheater, he's got allegations from some woman, and I just don't know. Right? But allegations from some woman, and oh, he's a cheater. He had one wife, then another. If there's anything more concerning than all that is, honestly, we'll get to it. Allow me, though, because we're talking about Hegseth. There's some important stuff here, right? And the timeline basically is, it centers around Pete Hegseth becoming Trump's pick for United States Secretary of Defense, okay? And, they've been bringing up sexual assault allegations from 2017. Of course, they went full force on that. November 2024, he's getting the nomination. And it's par for the course. Dirty laundry, pull the lever on it all. Media circus, character assassinations. You drink on the job and stuff like that. But Pete, you would agree that being drunk on the floor or something like that is wrong, right? He's like, something like that. I can't remember quite the exact nature of the questioning, but it was something akin to that he was getting grilled by these people. And you got to remember, if you remember, it was this like panel of people above him looking down at Pete. And it's like, well, you said this on this comment, You that's terrible, right, Pete? You would agree with me that's a terrible thing, right? You would never do such a. It's that kind of smarmy. People think that these people are no better. So yes, that was the nomination. And then it's the controversy of the Signal chat leaks. You heard about it. There's this messaging app, and it's whatever. It's encrypted. The details. Not important right now. But that was the controversy that someone involved in these talks in the Trump administration, important talks involving war plans and stuff like that, were leaked. Because in this group chat, a reporter was added in. And now, I forget, because the blame was going around. Mike Waltz is a good guy. Mike Waltz is a dummy. But there is this rumbling beneath it all. There's been, is it called suspensions? Not suspensions. I think firing. I think they're literally firing. But you could describe it as two factions in the Trump administration, and they're losing people. Like Mike Waltz goes down. They're going after Hegseth and his people. I heard staffers. Now let me get this straight. I heard like staffers and people on the Hegseth side, which are the anti-war side, I hear, have lost people too. So it's an internal struggle. It's not just me. I'm not just making this up. They're speaking about it in other channels like, let's see here, even international publications, Bild, I forgot how you say this, that German one, Unheard. It's not just me. I'm not just making it up, right? They're calling them restrainers and hawks. Restrainers, those who trying to keep it chill, or at least it's not just for them. It's not just war is what we got to do. They're considering other avenues. And then they're the hawks. They call them the hawks who want the war, right? Trump prevented Israel from attacking Iran's nuclear facility. So it's an internal struggle. And that's a little bit about what's going on. If you want more on this internal struggle, I guess to give you more evidence, because I'm not just making it up, right? They're calling them restrainers, hawks. Early 2025 April. This is from Unheard. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu proposed a U.S.-supported strike on Iran's nuclear facilities. Trump declined, influenced by warnings from Hegseth and Vance about potential escalation. The Signal chat leaks themselves, the actual leaks themselves are being purported as some of that internal struggle, that the leaks were just a mistake, not just a mere mistake, but that they were used as leverage, either planned or otherwise. But that's what they say. Hegseth inadvertently included journalist Jeffrey Goldberg in a Signal group chat. Military operations against Houthi targets in Yemen. I told you about that one. That was good. We like that. Further leaks reveal Hegseth shared sensitive information with his wife, brother, and personal lawyer, none of whom had security clearances. But this divide, I've seen it in the media. I think even Mark called me and was describing some of this divide in the Pentagon, if you remember. And he was naming names. Pentagon officials and some of these the top military people who are just activists and go against Trump. So a little bit of the bird's eye view, what's going on with all that? And I'm sure you understand its significance. And Hegseth, JD, Hegseth, they're the restrainers. They're supposed to be the Israel nuts. This is what I'm hearing, right? It's like, God, Nick, you got to care about this because these guys are going to bring us into war with Iran. The Hegseth, his tattoos, he's all into this. Remember, they were calling the tattoos on Hegseth this like Christian, like white nationalists, like this guy's an insane-o Nazi guy. Remember they were saying that? The deeper level on that story is that, and then there were these comments he made about loving Israel, which is like par for, like, that's normal. If you know anything, right, this is kind of average. But the deeper story on that is that, the detractors are like, look at this Nazi guy, but then there was an even deeper internal fight amongst the right wing saying, oh, well, this guy's actually, those tattoos and all that is because he's a nut and he believes in this religious stuff, prophecy, and he's going to send us to war because of this thinking. These are supposed to be the Israel nuts or whatever I'm hearing, and they're the restraints. So what am I saying with that? Not pretending like I have this amazing grasp of all this, but it just seems like I constantly inform you guys of the different struggles and how they kind of all get it all wrong a little bit. This is going to happen, I swear, and it doesn't quite. It's a little bit different. I'll stay watching and seeing, and I'll present it to all of you. But I'm just don't make such claims to get into war and all that because it's not America, right? I don't want to have to answer this question. How many babies should die? What a stupid question. It's fine. It's a fine question to pose to those who are really into this. It's like, okay, well, how many dead babies for Israel to be safe? But I'm just glad I don't have to answer. So why even get into it now concerning America? Imagine you had now. Right. These are just imaginations. But you had a terrorist contingency at the southern border, and you want to start dealing with it, all of a sudden they say, well, Nick, how many babies are you okay with till America's safe? You really want to go down that road? So anyways, a little bit of a commentary on maybe staying out of things you shouldn't be in and understanding. But look, if they're having this eternal struggle, war, all this stuff, but if honestly, and they're bringing up stuff in the past about Hegseth. He's this type of guy. He's that type of guy. If there's anything that's more concerning than any of this crap the media and the world brings up, if there's anything more truly concerning than any of that mess, it's this. Pete Hegseth calls her his rock. That's what he calls her, according to Daily Mail. But DailyMail.com can reveal Defense Department staffers have their own nickname for their boss's wife, Yoko Ono. Now, that's just some Daily Mail gossip there for you, but these pictures are gossip, right? He really does go around with his wife. He's been reported. Where was it? That this very Daily Mail article. Here it is. Ratchet. I don't know how to say her name. Ratchet also raised eyebrows last month for tagging along with her husband on 2 meetings with high-level foreign defense officials. What is your wife doing at a meeting with high-level defense foreign officials? What the? And grabbing onto your arm everywhere you go. What is going on, man? Why can't you leave her at home? Jennifer Ratchet. Now, I believe that's last name is from her previous marriage. And that's just, I don't even know what to say, because normally I'd correct the media. I'd correct Google and tell them what her real name is, right? Her name is Jennifer Hegseth. But now I'm not so sure, right? Because what leg do you have to stand on here? Not a condemnation, right? I don't care about your personal life. But what leg do you have to stand on here, right? If you were to say, well, no, this is a married woman. Her last name is Hegseth. But she was married before, had kids. Ratchet, right? It's like, whoa, imagine being, what I'm trying to say there is, what a situation, right? Can you really get out of that? What's the antidote? Maybe just don't do it. Just don't be in this situation. Because what a mess. Jen, holding on to her man. And I have to make a couple assumptions here, because this is just gossip from Daily Mail. So I have to make some kind of assumption here on the reasoning. Maybe not too far from like RFK Jr.'s wife. Remember, she was way more open about it. RFK Jr.'s wife made it clear why she wants to be, and I don't know if this happened or not, but why she wants to be moved to D.C. around her husband, RFK, because RFK's a bit of a Rolling Stone, okay? Out there in the world, RFK Jr., okay, all that muscle, all that testosterone behind that, I don't know, replace testosterone? I don't know. Why would I even say such a thing? Why would I even suggest such a thing? It's a fine medical procedure that many men do. I don't think it's controversial, right? HRT. Anyways, that's enough. Stop. Look, the point is, Cheryl Hines, not happy, right? She's familiar with RFK Jr.'s Rolling Stone ways in the past, and so she's made it clear she's concerned. Daily Mail kind of implies that about Racha here. And whatever, personal life here, there aside, that's not a good look. Let's say that just doesn't make sense. Let's say that's all true. You're just a cheater. I just want to keep my family together, and I just want to, show a united front. Assuage her fears. I'm fine, honey. That's I don't know. It's like going the wrong way because it's easier. Don't you think, folks? If that's all, assuage feelings. Don't worry, honey. You can see me, so don't worry. You can be you can't prove such a thing, Pete. You can't prove that kind of loyalty and all that. You have to let this trust fix itself. Let God handle it, Pete. Let God handle this trust, right? The only thing you could do is the simple right thing, and it's it might look boring. You don't get to fix the feelings right away. Like, oh, you're feeling scared, honey. Just come with me to the meeting. Just come with me to the meeting. But I know that she's gonna be there. Just come with me with the meeting, right? That's fine. Well, no. And it's also kind of beta. So normally I wouldn't care, right? Personal lives and all that. We're talking about, but now it kind of matters. We're talking about war. And I'm kind of messing around a little bit, but it's also kind of the apocalypse. This is J.D. Vance's family I'm seeing. J.D. Vance, his beautiful wife, Usha, darling Usha, she's nice, right? She only talked about when she was presenting J.D. Vance and Nate gave that speech about him and talked about his dirty laundry. Not even that dirty. She was really only saying what he wrote in his own book, right? So he kind of set that example. I could see Usha being like all cute and, well, a woman, but like what I'm getting at is just there's the witchy, crotchety, like she's grown old and like hates her man woman. And I don't know if we can exactly put that on Usha, right? She's got some maturing to do. And she could mature into such a nasty thing, but right, let's not. She just went on stage and said what he wrote in his book. Like, oh, he went through so much trauma, but that's a bad look. Ladies, don't do such a thing. Don't do such a thing. It's just it's a sign of something wrong, don't you think, folks? But anyways, he just wrote about that in his book. All like, oh, I got trouble, so much trouble. I went through so much. But there's his kids. They're kind of lighter than I thought. What? That's still brown, right? Brownish. That's pretty. Hey, look at that. That's your son, man. That's your son. That's JD's son. I don't care what anybody says. That's his son's. But they are dressed in this Indian garb. What is? Now they went to India, I guess. And I don't know what they did here because this looks like Modi. This looks like the Indian Prime Minister Modi. In fact, that has to be him. There's only one guy I know that sits in a chair like this that looks like that. But do you have to dress Indian like that? Whose decision was this? Now I'm just nitpicking, right? Get out of this guy's family, Nick. Apparition in the mind. Get out of this guy's family. Butt your nose out of here. She's cute and they're fine. Maybe. They're fine, right? They're fine. But look, allow me to nitpick. It's my show, Apparition. Get out of here because they're Indian. Why are they dressed Indian? Like, where's this influence coming from? You see pictures of their family, and it's JD, his kids, and then Usha's family. All of Usha's cousins, aunties, auntie, uncle, beta, beti. I wouldn't hang out. That's just me, right? Maybe he likes hanging out with family, and I guess he wrote about in his book how his family's kind of crazy, so I guess if you want to be with family, but I don't want to be with any family. I want to be with my family. If I'm married, I'm with my family. I want to be with my family. Let's go have dinner with the. It's like maybe. But I know. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate that. I'm just arguing with the apparition in the mind. But yeah, I don't know. That's just me. Sign of influence? I don't know. But I like Trump, right? Trump's always been pretty clear, kind of his style, just like solid alpha guy. We'll see what happens with the world. I'm not on dislike Hegseth and JD and all that. Everything is fake says Hindus are going to get to the top one way or another. You know, Patrick Buchanan wrote about the populations of the world. And when he wrote about the Mexicans, who did he write about? He wrote about the Mexicans and somebody else. There were nations that were very populous but very poor. And I forget what he said, but he said something about like the Mexicans, these people will inherit the earth, their birth rates comparing to the West. I added on the academic shoulders of the giants before me. I added to that with the rice and beans theory, the rice and beans quotient. Cheap carbs. They cook it amazing. They cook rice and beans amazing. They can have it every day. He who has the rice and beans will inherit the earth. Patrick Buchanan, interestingly, did not mention India. No, I think I'm making that up. I think he totally mentioned India. They're like, you make an interesting point. Everything is fake. They shall inherit the earth. And I'm not repeating that. Everything is fake. You got to jump in the chat to see some of these chats. What are you doing out there? Just at least not participating to help the channel. Just a little bit. Sometimes you just want to watch. You don't have to do that. Everything's fake. The Hindus shall inherit the earth. What else about this? That's it with the MAGA wives and all that. I see calls coming in, 888-775-3773. Oh, amazing. So what else? Let's see what else I want to say here. Buymeacoffee.com/anchorbaby. So many coffees. An incredible amount of coffees. But thank you. John Zimmer says with the super chat, thank you, all the super chats on YouTube. Let's see if I got this right. Hold on. Now, John Zimmer, this is from today, but it says, yup, American Anchor Baby, the mind is a minefield for most. I remember reading that yesterday. It says April 2-3. I'm making that up. I totally read this yesterday. But thanks for the support, everybody. What's up, Hake Report, Buddy 1205 over there on Rumble. Names lit up because y'all are members. Amazing. So what else? Let's get to a call here. How about that? Let's get to William out of California. William, how you doing, sir? You're on the air.
Hey, Nick, how you doing?
All is well.
All right. So now, just in, on the news, everything that just came in, the individual who was illegal in California, who had the high-speed chase on the 405, and the two teenagers were killed.
No,
he's being released 6 years early from this offense, and DOJ and Kristi Noem and Tom Homan, they said we're not going to go through this again. What we're going with this other guy from Maryland, going back and forth
okay.
to they said we're going to pick him up. They said, well, what about California sanctuary city policies? They said, hey, we're still coming. We'll be there waiting.
Oh.
So, you know, that's
yeah, I'm seeing this on Fox now. That's
right.
In what way are they avoiding the mess with?
They're just going to ignore them and pick them up.
Let's go.
You guys, you releasing him, and we're picking him up. And they said they're filing federal immigration charges for manslaughter on this guy. So the case, the charges you basically are saying, we're just dropping it. That's what they're saying. All these other different fancy words.
That is amazing.
Good behavior. They're just saying, forget it. We're going to supersede state law and kick in the federal immigration case on him. And they says he will be deported, and we will not be going back and forth with this one.
I hope I'm not overstating the significance of this in my mind, but it seems the more I think about this, the more amazing this is. I don't know if I've ever heard of this, right? This is this. Oh no, you can't do that. The federal government, but he's just wrecking ball.
Yeah,
Let's go in. So if I'm getting this straight, California is like, okay, you can go, and it's basically the story is basically he touches free ground. Tom Homan swoops in and picks him up. Sorry, buddy, you can't.
You put the bracelets on him.
That's amazing.
That just shows you that federal law does supersede state law.
You said what?
Federal law does supersede state law.
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that over the years growing up about American civics and all that. I've heard that said both ways in different ways, honestly. So I don't know what to think.
Yeah.
But I've heard that state law supersedes federal law. My buddy years ago told me, I love America,
okay.
Nick. America's the greatest country in the world because state law supersedes federal. But I don't know. What are we going to say?
That's okay. That's kind of tricky. What he played a trick on you. States shall govern, not supersede, but states shall govern. Like the driver's license rules are different from state to state, and different laws on this and that and this and that. Yes, states govern their own laws. That's why it's the United States. But in an event like this, federal supersedes state.
Huh. Interesting, man.
He cherry-picked you.
I honestly think, over the years I've come to see that the answer lies. I could think the answer is depends, but I really don't.
Yeah, look at the amendments. It does say states shall govern their own laws. That means passing bills and stuff like that. He was right, but he cherry-picked you on that one.
And it's like at this point, we're beyond. It's not even right to say beyond. We're beyond the law now. We're beyond. That's not a fair characterization, in my opinion, with what's going on.
Right.
It's more so that there needs to be a true enforcement of the law, which hasn't been way before Trump. They say, well, Trump doesn't have rights to do this in California, but what right does California? What right does California have to leave?
California,
right. What right does California have to leave a hole open in the border?
Hey, man, they're so used to, especially people here in California, they think the news in California is what it is across the country for the other 49. That's the part that your friend was talking about, states shall govern their own laws. Yeah, that part,
Fair enough.
Because our news stations out here are not going to really tell the truth to people in the state of California, and that's why they're so indoctrinated with their behavior. You can't tell me trans man can be in girl sports and make sense. You can't tell me putting a knife in another kid's heart is a victory. You get what I'm saying?
Totally.
So, California is totally indoctrinated, and their news is they're local. See, there's two different things: local news, regional, national. And California reports things a certain way. Now, if you ever noticed, if it's a black perpetrator, you ever notice that they don't show pictures and tell the names? Right.
That's when you know.
They usually, when you don't have no identification of whoever did something, and you're in California and it comes on the news and they don't have no pictures, no name, you can, not 100%, but 95% of the time, you can rest assured it's maybe kind of like sort of black, and they don't want it to be known.
People around me do that openly who are not even. There's people around me who are not that I didn't meet through politics. And we don't talk about politics, right? I would assume they're liberal. They'll see something like that and they'll be like, oh, probably black. They're not showing on the news. Like it's a common thing said. I'm not even making that. I'm not even making that up.
A lot of people. It's not. Yeah, you're not. Nobody's making that up. And here's another thing, Dick. A lot of people are uncomfortable to point that out too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The white guilt and caving in. They don't want to admit that. Me and you are not the smartest people in the galaxy. We can figure it out. They can too.
Thank you. Exactly.
So.
I heard earlier. Sorry, you were going to say?
No, you go ahead.
I wanted to mention, since you mentioned Carmelo, I had come up on the hate report
you heard
earlier.
me today.
I did. I think I heard you call the hate report. I didn't catch your call though. Did you guys talk about the death penalty at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay. What were you thinking? Because I had this brought up, and someone had asked someone, "What would you do if what would you do with Carmelo if like you had a handle of the law?" And before that person answered, I said, "The death penalty," and I thought that was uncontroversial. What do you think about that? Okay,
so now we're going to kill a couple of birds with one stone, just like your friend Cherry picked you with state your governor, laws versus federal superseding state. Okay, we're going to cover that right now. This is for states govern their own laws. In the state of Texas, a teenager cannot be given the death penalty, but he can get 99.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So he's 17. What's 17 plus 99?
Right, life sentence.
That's 116 years old. You're not going to be any good anyway. So
I got you.
What I get now, which I don't think he'll get, but the thing is, what I've noticed is that Rashawn, he reminded me of something, because I said I did catch one thing, that lady's name is not the same as that child's, and that guy that was with her could not have been his father.
Okay.
And I pointed out that if that was me, my father wouldn't allow my mother to be on national TV defending my actions, and would have probably gotten, knowing my father would have done this, would not have allowed my mother to do that, knowing the bond that I have with her as being her child that she birthed versus him being my father. Two different relationships. Mm-hmm. So knowing that the bond that she has with her child is in a world of trouble, I don't think my father would allow my mother to speak.
Right.
For the best defense of my case, he probably would not let her speak. And whatever he say would probably be limited.
Right.
If not being to help my case, he probably would be compassionate to the persons who lost their child. That would be the only thing that could help my defense. You got to realize this is going to go.
That's just
trial.
Reasonable. That's just reasonable. And I think you even just said. I think you said the other day too. I asked you what, like, if it was your son in a situation like this. Yeah. Now, barring any of the details, the nitty gritty details, exactly what you would do, we may not know. But if I remember, you said, whoever, like your son, you would want them to face whatever they have to face, they should face it. I think that was you who I asked. And it shows a big difference in just how we're merely raised. Imagine just a culture who just was hard on crime. That simple.
It's going to be a lot of pages of law turned in this thing, just like the OJ case. People basically went to law school checking in on that case. It was just so many different scenarios that could not be, could do. You know what I mean? That's how this case is going to go. And what I did say this morning is that I think the burden of responsibility was first on him, Carmelo Anthony, for packing a knife in his backpack.
Yeah, and I kind of see it this way too, in that the death penalty and all that. Well, it's they ruled that you're not allowed minors and all that. But if we consider for a moment, I don't even think death penalty, because we got to make an example of this black guy or else they'll do it to more. It's like, I think that's a fine reason. But I think personally for me, there's so many people who deserve the death penalty now who don't get it, right? Like they used to, for murder, the death penalty was what you got for murder. Like that's just what you got.
Well, that's where if you notice, that's where your friend caught you with that technicality. states. He tried to make you think that states have more power than the federal government. No, they don't. But in this situation here, every state's going to govern that law differently. Death penalty, life, and what I did say this morning is I think the defense is hurting this Carmelo by pointing out race and self-defense. I think they need to stay completely away from. Of course, they should stay away from race.
I see what you're saying with that, but I think if
don't
they did
roll
that,
the dice on that. If they roll the dice on that, now listen to how law works. It's a big game. Do we roll the dice and play the race card? That one's going to get pretty much shot to the curve. That's going to get shot to the curve. That can make you lose. The other one is, should we bank on self-defense? Well, if you look up self-defense, you pretty much can only bring the lethal force that's presented to you in a life-threatening situation. Now, wrestling and fighting, teenagers, they kick each other's butt for less.
Mm-hmm.
But does that justify for you to pack a knife to school, to a school ground, and put it in somebody's heart? Is that self-defense?
Mm. Right. Some were saying that's on borderline premeditation because it's like you're out there looking for a fight.
Borderline premeditation. At least they're going to probably try to. I'm going to just say this, man. I think they're taking a lot of risk with two things: going for self-defense and playing the race card. I think you're going to screw this kid's case up.
But you see, they must, because I think they know otherwise.
You see how you roll the dice. If you go to trial with that theory,
right? You're rolling the dice. It could you got to go for broke, or it's like, no, this is a total lie. But you see, otherwise it's like otherwise I don't think they have a defense. Otherwise, that's my point.
I don't think they don't have a defense. Correct.
Otherwise,
so would you make this your son, Nick? You're going to roll the dice and play the race card and go for self-defense. Or are you going to be quiet? Don't let your wife cry and have crocodile tears and play good beat. Let me tell you, judges and jury, they see these things. They see these things, these press conferences. They're going to look at your intent. Is that fair? They're going to look at your intent.
Yeah, no, I think you're trying to grasp this. We'll see what happens with all that. But I appreciate your commentary on this, William.
Anybody that casually says, "Oh, it was just," you kind of like have a group of people who are glad that the kid that died was white versus black, and they want to say, "Well, look, we call Rittenhouse," and that's another thing, a strategy that I think the guy that did the press conference, I think they had the nerve to mention Kyle Rittenhouse and Donald Trump.
That's crazy.
He killed 3 people cold-blooded. No. Kyle Rittenhouse did not kill 3 people cold-blooded.
Lies, just full-on lies.
That's a lie.
William, I want you to make your last comment on this. I'm trying to move on quick because I do want to make a few comments on Carmelo after you, and then I want to be done with the topic. People can call in about it, but I don't want to spend too much more time.
Yeah.
Go ahead. You want to make a last comment on this?
This thing was not about race until after the kid was killed and all of the organizations came about. And then when they threw out this thing about "don't touch me," which is something Black Lives Matter has been teaching all the teenagers the last couple of years. You see them stealing up everything in the store, and then they'll get handcuffed, and they'll still be resisting arrest saying, "Don't touch me." Black Lives Matter sold that narrative to our black teenagers, and now he did say at the track meet, "Touch me and see what happens."
Yeah. Right.
You might be rolling the dice on self-defense.
Loud and clear, William.
You can fool around and get you don't fool around and get this guy the chair if you fool with those theories. Because like you said, you don't think the defense has a case. I don't either.
Right. That's why they have to do this race thing and
right.
That's why they have to do it.
That's their only card to play.
Exactly. They're banking on it.
All right.
William, I appreciate your commentary. Call me again.
Okay, Nick.
888-775-3773. We'll get back to calls here. Thank you. Now, since he brought it up, I was going to mention this in passing. I was hearing out the commentary on the death penalty, and I thought that was an uncontroversial thing. Well, you want to go there, death penalty with this? So now it's like you want to get crazy with it because blacks are violent? Like, be reasonable. But hold on. There's so many people, black, white, well before Carmelo, well before any of this, that pretty much deserve the death penalty, in my opinion. You know, whacked out killers who will do it again. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that used to be the punishment for such a little care of human life. It was more that you left society with no choice. Should you really not want to be part of it so badly? You left society with no choice, and it served as a deterrent for those unable to operate in a higher societal mindset. And it's one of those things, right? It's just one of those things that you used that worked. And, you know, you can wonder about its efficacy and all that. I'm sure you could. But you can't deny the trend over decades, 100 years plus in America. It used to be just in the mid-1990s, the U.S. averaged over 300 new death sentences. And it went down to just 21 by 2013. 21, a decline of more than 90%. Now it's like, well, I'm not saying, oh, you got to get those numbers up, we got to kill more people. But this decline is, you got to understand some of the driving forces behind this decline. You can go back to because the Supreme Court keeps getting brought up, right? They say a Supreme Court decision made it so that you couldn't give the death penalty to minors. Well, before that, there was cases such as Furman versus Georgia. Now, you got to understand, again, some of the forces behind this call to bring down the death penalty. It wasn't really people saying, well, there's just a better way of doing this. We just don't like this. Like, that's some of it. That's part of public opinion. But this fall in public opinion from the bit of research, like, again, I'm doing my best here, right? Doing some research. This public support for the death penalty had waned. And from what I see in this Pew Research thing, this waning is decades after this Furman versus Georgia thing. And so what happened with Furman versus Georgia, the Supreme Court decision, that centered around an individual named William Henry Furman, a black man. He was convicted of murder during a home burglary. He claimed the gun accidentally discharged. He was sentenced to death. This whole case went all the way to the Supreme Court, and to summarize, the fight was centered around this death penalty being unconstitutional in that it was arbitrary and discriminatory. That it was just arbitrary. That it was a violation of the 8th and 14th Amendments due to its arbitrary and discriminatory application. Now you're understanding some of the forces here, right? Oh, well, you're just picking and choosing. You're a racist. You hate black people. That's why these people have a disproportionate death penalties. Not that they're committing more crime, et cetera. Nobody wants to have that conversation. Turns out they've been having that for decades. And so they said, well, okay, let's stop handing out the death penalty because it's racist. You got to take this in, folks. So, you know, I don't think it's a controversial thing. It would be a fine example and on the table for me if I was running things. And it wouldn't be because these black people are, it would, there's way more who deserve it in a sense. You understand what I'm saying here? The standard of what reaches this standard here in my mind is simply murder, right? Is simply that kind of act, that kind of behavior. So that's just how it is. So what else about this? Carmelo, we got a call on this, I think. Let me get to you. Maze out of Dayton, Ohio. How you doing, Maze? You're on the air.
Hello, Nick.
How you doing, Maze?
I'm so sick of these full-up people. It's just not making a sense.
Tell me, what's not making sense?
Carmelo. Was Carmelo one of your boys, or was the one that got killed one of your boys, or whichever how it goes? Evidence will tell what happened. And people can say, when you say wait and see, because some lies get spreaded, these people, this boy's parents are in danger. And nobody talk about those people that's upset because they act like he was one of their family members, don't even know nothing about the two, or how it got started, or you just hear what you heard. But why does it keep rubbing on and on and on like 2 or 3 weeks or a month?
Can I answer
you
that?
This guy that went in, do you have the same feeling for the one that went to the university and shot up those kids?
Well, let's deal with one thing at a time. You're welcome to bring up more things, but on Carmelo...
No, not more things. I'm saying a murderer is a murderer.
No. On the Carmelo getting more attention thing, deal with that first. I can agree that there's an evil hype and attention on all sorts of things. I can agree on that, Maze. But let's be real for a moment. What caused you to call in and care about the topic as well? Didn't you just say you were right? You're sick of the lies. You wanted to correct the lies.
Yes, I'm saying the lies.
For the very same reason.
What happened to the
people
law?
want to call. Other people are calling into my show. It's a topic on my show. It's for that very same reason. The same reason that caused you to call in.
But is this the same topic? What does it do to you about what happened? What is it? Was it one of your Facebook people or your friends or something that you knew? Why you got to get all up in arms and want to go fight somebody and harm other people that didn't have anything to do?
Are you asking me? I don't want to fight anybody. I don't want to get up in arms. I think that's silly as well. I don't feel personally affected by this story.
That's what I'm trying to say. So if you're not personally affected and intertwined with it unless you're trying to start something, that shouldn't be happening in the first place.
Yeah, but you brought up a couple of things. There's one thing to be way too involved in a situation that doesn't matter to you, and it's another thing to be interested in a situation everyone's talking about, and then you're also interested just like them, but suddenly your interest in the situation is different than theirs. Everybody's interested in the situation, Maze. That's why everybody's calling in about it.
My interest is not to go harm somebody just because you upset because somebody looked like you got stabbed. Stabbed in the heart. You don't know how he got stabbed in the heart. You just say, well, that was my brother. How was that your brother? He's not even related to you. Some of them looking at it that way. And then you have innocent people that go to jail, don't they? And then commit a crime, but they spend years and years in prison.
But what does that have to do with Carmelo Anthony stabbing at Austin Metcalf?
Huh?
What does that have to do with the stabbing?
What it has to do with the stabbing is like innocent people.
You said innocent, yeah.
Innocent people. We don't know what it is. We don't know what happened. If they say they got videotapes, some people don't have the patience. They got one to just go fight and mess with other people just because he stabbed somebody. But then when somebody look like you go do something like Jeffrey Dahmer, should he have been killed for doing killing all those people?
But I'm not understanding. What is it that you're...
You got people giving him money.
It's unclear exactly what you're criticizing here, Maze. There is a general sense that people are too into a certain topic, but now it's become unclear. What actions are people taking about this that are bothering you specifically?
The action is when you put the other people, his parents, in danger. They got to have security. Why?
Because they took it on.
What do you mean they took it on? That don't make no sense.
They took it on. They went on to the media. They went into front of cameras to make this big thing because it's all part of the case.
Really?
It's all part of the case.
In your sight?
No, that's what's happening because Carmelo is part of the situation, not his family.
But
his family has to jump in there because you got to make the case that he's
no
part of a family. You got to make this case.
You don't know if that was his dad, but because
you said what?
People saying that was not his real father. His real father, if you adopted him, he still could be his father. If you adopt a child,
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if that's true.
That's a libel spread. You keep.
I don't know. I don't know if I've heard of any stepfather at all.
Oh, it was said today. That was not his real father. That was his stepfather. Father in the house.
Who said that?
Somebody adopted, and then if the mother.
I don't know anybody that talks like that.
Doesn't matter. It was two people in the house. It doesn't matter if it was one person in the house. It's like we don't know what people don't know what happened, but they come to start to go harm somebody else because they don't like what happened and don't even have a clue what happened.
But are you basically just making us think and calling for people to just chill out, like you don't know all the details?
No, you're making it dangerous to other people.
No,
you're making it dangerous to people that had nothing to do with it. You can find somebody.
But Maze, this is a wrong. This is not the hill to die on.
I'm
Maze,
saying your callers are making it like Mark.
Right. And I'm just
other people.
And I'm trying to tell you. And I'm just trying to tell you that, Maze, don't pay such attention to such things. The world, the world is like that. Don't you know that the world? Don't you know that But don't you know that the world, the vast majority of people, assume things. They speak before knowing.
Assuming could be wrong, and then
hold on. But why all of a sudden get mad about it, Maze? The world has been like that.
I'm just
what
mad
about years?
Huh? I'm not upset. It's just how stupid it is. You listen to the words that come out of their mouth.
But it
Like,
seems a
she's
little
one
bit.
of
It seems
ours.
a little bit.
He don't belong to you. He's not your son. Your son don't even talk to you. So how he gonna be one of yours? But then somebody look like you, go and do something like that. It don't matter. You can't talk about that. You just act like it didn't happen. You on expunge it, and we don't have no conversation. Just like that guy went to that university and shot up those people. Do you hear anybody saying that they want to go harm anybody because he did that? No, you don't.
But who's talking about harming? What are you talking about?
Oh, you listen to.
You're just saying. You're just listening to that family. All you heard is a family say, "We're afraid," and you're like, "Oh my gosh, look at these evil people who want to harm." You're just.
No, those are not the only people. You got politicians being.
I don't understand why you want to do this thing, Maze.
When you hear
Maze, Maze, you're gonna hear this.
Her.
No, Maze, you're gonna hear this. No, Maze, nope, Maze, you're gonna hear this because I don't understand why you.
I can hear it, but I'm saying
but you're gonna hear it still. You got to hear it. To hear, you must pipe down.
When you hear,
to hear what I'm saying, you must pipe down, Maze. You must pipe down. Just for a moment. Just for a moment.
I'm not upset.
No, but you have to pipe down because when I talk, you pipe down, and then when you talk, I pipe down. That's how it works. But
is the person under you?
No. But look, Maze, why do you do this thing where it's just so on the nose? Like it's so obvious that you're just cherry picking. You're saying,
I'm not cherry picking.
It's so crazy that these people are assuming details and going ahead of themselves. Like, you guys are acting crazy. Now all of a sudden, Maze is the voice of reason. Don't you call us? Don't you call us every other day about? Oh, but what about this? What about that? Cherry picking all day about what an individual did. Can't we both agree, Maze? Can't we both agree that wrong is wrong?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, but you don't catch it. Wrong is wrong, regardless of who do it.
Exactly.
Even if it was done on a university, if it was done on by somebody else, and if it don't look like somebody did it, it's still reasonable to look at it the same way. But some people don't see it that way. They say, "Well, like he killed a white boy." Like that's supposed to mean something.
But that's what someone else. That's what I'm getting at. That's what someone else is saying.
And what do you say?
But this is what I'm getting at, Maze. Let's flip
what kind
it.
Of sense do that make?
This is what I'm getting at, Maze. If you flip it around, you'll have evil people on the internet doing the same thing with some other identity.
How many people do you heard that the boy went down to that church in Carolina and killed those people inside their sanctuary? How many black people did you hear going to get his family or either talking about killing him? Nobody.
What are you talking about?
Anytime, huh?
What are you talking about?
Dylan Root. When he went down and killed those people in that church.
See, this is what I'm getting at. She's talking about Dylan Roof, folks. She goes back to Dylan Roof.
We don't hear that stuff. Only thing we hear that is from people like Mark them. They are messing up the minds of people that listen to this show. Some of them might go and do
You know what's
crazy.
evil about what you're doing, Maze?
It's not right.
I'm trying, Maze. You know what's evil about what you're doing? Is that we could talk about what's wrong no matter who it is and just agree on that. But instead, you want to do the tit for tat thing. Wait, hold on. You want to do the tit for tat thing. No. Hold on, Maze. You want to do the tit for tat thing, and you want nope. You want to do the tit for tat thing, and you want to tally up what this group did and what that group did, and you want to measure it up.
No.
And you know what's terrible about that game, Maze? You know what's terrible about that dirty game, Maze? Is that if we were to actually play it, you would lose. You would lose.
I would lose. No, you would lose, and everybody that think like that would lose. Because
we would tally up.
Do anything to you,
we would tally up the sides.
That's why they got
and
the
it
law.
would be crime after crime. It would be a misunderstanding that's stretched.
A misunderstanding.
Misunderstanding that's stretched and lied about over and over again on the black side. So, and I'm trying to not play that game, and you want to play that game. Do you see that, Maze? You want to play that game.
Black people did not go to do anything like we hear now. He was one of us, my boy. It's like get your butt and get your brain and put it to yourself and get it off harming other people.
All right, so what else do you want to say about
when
this?
When they killed somebody, did all the black people kill anybody? No, they didn't. So why you got to look at black people as murdering everybody? Just like I said, people go to prison and went to prison, didn't commit a crime, had to stand there for years and years and years before they got out. And then what life do they have after? Just because some judge sit up there because it's a black judge just there. That's why they don't they have judges.
Make a point, Maze. Make a point. I heard you. Loud and clear. Make a point about something else, or like just make a move on and make a point.
You, just because of your Caucasianness, don't mean that you're supposed to be going around with this 2 or 3 weeks, 3 or 3 till something else happen. Black or white is what I'm trying to say. It shouldn't be made a big deal out like we hear now to start up some stupid mess for somebody crazy to go out and harm people.
But it is a big deal.
I don't know where you're at and the other.
But it is a big deal, Maze.
I know where Mark is. What?
But it is a big deal.
What is the big deal about it?
It's a lie what you're saying.
What's a lie? What is the big deal about it?
You're saying that nothing is happening.
I didn't say nothing is
Well,
happening.
let me put it like this.
You're saying
you're saying that everything is fine.
No, I didn't say everything was fine. I'm saying, well, so you got agitators out there, and they're getting worse and worse. The more you sow it,
But you're asking them to just drop it all.
No, I didn't say drop it. I mean, like, what you got to do.
But you know that that's not going to happen.
As a person,
and you know that's not going to happen with black people.
I didn't
and
say
so
that.
it is a problem.
I showed you an example. Yes, it's a problem. It's a problem with who?
With black people, they hate white people.
It's a problem with black people. Excuse me, no, what did you just say?
Black people hate white people.
Oh, are you white too?
I didn't say me. Who did I say?
Oh, yeah,
I said black people hate white people.
How you gonna speak for Caucasians?
I'm not.
Well,
I'm just saying. I'm saying a clear statement. I'm not. What does this about? What does this have to do with me? I'm not making it personal. I'm making a statement. You said there's no problem. I'm trying to sell you there is a problem, and the problem is simple. Black people hate white people.
They like black people.
You said
because
what?
They walk around here with this hatred in their heart. They want to do something and break the law, and they don't like the law themselves. So that's why they have laws. I keep telling you, that's why they have laws for people like those that want to go out and harm people.
Right.
But then this message come out, black people. Every Caucasian person do not hate black people.
No, right.
But there's words that come out of your mouth. You just said it. So
No.
do you think all of them like you?
I'm just saying black people hate white people
in
a significant way. All people have hate. All people have hate and da. But I'm just saying, but you asked you asked me to make it simple, like what's the problem or something like that. In this case, and I told you, you disagree, but I'm just I told you.
You telling me what Caucasians think. I'm listening to those every day with the same rhetoric, like Mark and William and a few more. They are apt to hurt somebody.
Just look at the comments on the Give, Send, Go, and then you'll understand. Because you're bringing up comments, right? Oh, comments on the internet. Oh, it's this nasty person, this nasty white person said a terrible thing about black people because they saw some Carmelo story and they overreacted.
Yes, they are.
Well, just go. Well, just go. You want to play this game? Just go to the Give, Send, Go and look at the comments that black people left on the Carmelo thing, and then you'll see that it's even Stevens, if not, you'll see that it's even Stevens, if not way worse with what the black people are saying.
I'm talking about what happened at the Capitol.
I'll call it even Stevens.
Nobody shouldn't have went to jail.
I'll call it even Stevens. But if you saw the comments, if you saw the comments on the Carmelo Anthony donation thing, you would see that it's way worse than what any white person is saying.
About the donation that went to him, and you worry about the money that was given. Those people that wanted to give money, they gave it. Is it like to all the other money that they was given to people that harm people?
Wait, what?
Did you give any money? No, you didn't. And the ones complaining ain't gave no money either. But he should die.
But now you're just saying nonsense, Maze.
What if it come out
Let's move on.
The two guys been bothering that boy? They don't have a nice track record either. You ain't gonna hear that, but you're just stuck on him.
No, but like,
now
I can't read. Now I can't read the comments, Maze. I'm allowed to read the comments. I'm allowed to read the comments just because I didn't donate.
You can read that comment. That's because you see it, but you don't hear them going out to do anything to anybody about a comment.
No, but that's. Maze, are you even following the conversation? I'm not talking.
Think it's supposed to be his Caucasian people.
I'm not talking to anybody, am I?
So you said white people, and it's like, okay, you cannot speak for them. That was something I would be asking Jane, not you.
I'm just saying, right? Because it's like, okay, look at this comment from this white person, and it's like, well, just look at the comments on the Gives and Go. You want to play that game?
Anybody?
I don't know why you want to play that game.
I'm asking you, are they threatening anybody?
I'm trying to shake your hand. Yes, they are.
Yes, they
are. Yes, they are, Maze. Yes, they are. The answer to your question is yes, they are.
Yes, okay.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. They are glorifying death, Maze. They are glorifying it. And they're paying money.
So I'm taking it personal.
I'll show you. Do you want me to show you?
I can look myself.
Okay, thank you.
Stop taking it personal.
I'll leave you a little homework.
I said, stop taking it personal. Get it out your mind. It didn't do it to you.
Take what personal? I don't know. Anyways,
stop wanting to go on somebody else.
I don't have to fight with you on that.
You can, in Florida,
you can think what you want.
Don't you think people are tired of what we're looking at? Period.
Right on, Maze.
Evil people. We're tired of looking at evil people. Period.
Agreed. I'm trying to agree with you on that.
Utter the evilness, because when we don't let that capital was evil. And state rights and federal rights are two different things in the law. I hope people know that we're trying to explain. I don't know what the flute they're talking about. It's too easy to research. And don't take other people's words. for yourself and come back and give them the answer. Come give you
civics.
something and you let it stick with you. So Mark can hate all day as all he wants to. As long as he's not messing with me, that's not my problem. But don't be trying to teach people behind him and younger than him to be hateful like him. Teach them some sense. And that would be a better world for anybody to live in. You don't have to worry about people going to get harmed. And some people want to make it a racial thing. You don't know what it was.
That's
Do you? I don't. Do you know?
It was a stabbing.
That's what it was.
It was an angry kid stabbing a white boy.
Was it the first one?
Huh?
Was it the first one? A first stabbing that ever happened in this country?
Wait, actually, I'm not following.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So we need to get it together and get out of this hatred to go get your little mob, tell your mob to sit down and wait and see what happened. And if you're wrong, you still ain't going to apologize for being wrong because you don't believe in the law in the first place.
What's wrong?
Because if you did, we wouldn't have to be dealing with
what would be
every day.
wrong?
It's always somebody's fault. The judge, it's the judge's
What
fault.
is going to come out? Wait, what?
I don't know what's going to come out of it.
No, but that wouldn't matter. You're missing the point, Maze, and I'll just say it quickly, and then we'll move on. The point is that both sides don't know, right? Nobody really. No, we haven't seen any video, right? But it's been black people. But it's been black people who instantly went to the defense and made it a racial thing, and all that.
Because they gave that boy a GoFundMe, they lost their mind. That's what they lost.
Right.
Because
You have a nice day. You have a nice day, Maze.
They didn't give any, so
you have a nice day.
Down and don't go harm nobody, and let us all work on this earth as people.
We would be if y'all weren't so obstinate. We would be fine.
People down here, he put a whole lot of them around.
We would be just fine if y'all weren't so obstinate.
A whole lot of people are getting punished for stuff, and they're not even committing the crime, and they're not black.
Well, you have a nice day, Mace.
You want to convince people that black people are your problem. Your history is your problem. Have a good one.
Call me again, Maze. You watch this next segment. You watch this next segment and tell me you think the same thing still. Maze, 888-775-3773. You have a nice day. Carmelo. I mean, whatever. It's been laid out. It's all there. Do we need to do it more? No. You want to call in about it? Do it, but we're done. They're saying not a single minority at this anti-Trump protest. Not a single minority to be found, people are reporting on this anti-Trump protest. You've seen these, though. They're having these anti-Trump protests. Oh, get your hands off of our government. Trump, F Elon. It's like, but they're saying not a single minority to be found. Now, where was this? Is it just a matter of the location they're at? Because this is Nashville. And as far as I know, Nashville Centennial Park, like, that's the South. The black people in Nashville, right? Like, I'm not crazy here, am I? There's black people in Nashville. And they're saying not a minority to be found. Now, I don't know how significant this is, but I was watching this and thinking of you. Oh, wait, hold on. She's not part of the protest, though. She's a nice lady. See, look at that. Look at this. Crowds of white people fighting. Oh, reject racism, anti-Trump. And here we have a black woman with her headphones on, unbothered, probably on her way to work or something, probably on her way to do something normal and not loud and violent. So look at that. Here, how's that for a juxtaposition for you, huh? How's that for a little comedic, you didn't expect this one for you, okay? Look at that. But, I was watching this video. I really was thinking about a few things, significance. Is it really, is this demographically representative? I don't know. But it is fascinating, though, right? Because you consider for a moment this argument about Carmelo, about race in America. When I look at this video, it reminds me, and tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong here about who's having this conversation. And it's like, how do I put this? Yeah, black people, you have a voice. You're in there. But I'm trying to say that it's the white brothers. They're the ones fighting here, right? They're the ones saying, oh, no, racism is real. Well, no, it's not. You calm down. Well, no, it's slavery. We did this to them, and we're at fault, and oh, no, we're not. Calm down. And with all this talk about segregation and all that, these questions come to mind. When should you segregate? Will you have peace? Will you be okay? Now, that's not me derailing any kind of conversation about this. I don't think that's controversial. I don't think it's racist. Oh my gosh. Look, I cannot look at certain, I wouldn't be able to look at people in the eyes and say, well, you just have to. Especially certain neighborhoods and all that, and just be like, well, you just have to live with them. You just have to. Because you just have to. Like, no, you don't have to. But I do wonder, as I look at this video, I look at this and I consider maybe these issues are actually inexorably linked. It may just be the only reason it is a problem, this race thing is a problem, is because of a scene such as this. They are linked because the white brothers are unable to agree and they fight. You have a race problem. They're linked. You see what I'm saying here? In that segregating, although in my opinion, a fine option on the table, I would like to see just absolute truth prevail, right? And that requires something deeper, right? Something deeper. It's like all this is happening, right? The post-World War consensus even is because the white man is fighting amongst themselves in a sense. And this may be a crude, ignorant representation of this in my mind, but I'm being honest. You could tell me what you think. So, there may be just linked here in a way here. So, just something I was thinking about, because there's all this talk about segregation now. Segregation, right? I find it funny. I've heard a lot of people be okay with this, like, kind of not think twice about it. Like, yeah, okay, let's do it. I've heard it from Trump supporting, Bond loving callers, and like, yeah, no, it's true. Black people are out of control, and we just got to be honest. But when asked about yeah, let's do it. I'm just saying, this is stuff I've seen out there. I don't know how everyone feels about it. It's just my anecdotal kind of a brush up with all this. But anyways, here's a video out there.
I am ready for segregation. Our food's better. Our music's better. Everything we do is better. So come on, bring it.
I'm not against the energy. Like,
I am ready for segregation. Our food's
I'm playing it again because it was low.
Better. Our music's better. Everything we do is better. So come on.
So I don't know. In the comments, of course, people are fighting. Oh, cope. Like, I don't know. Love your. What's the big deal? Love what you're. I don't know. I was gonna say what you are and all that, but I just don't. I'd be lying if I said I saw it that way too. I don't. Identity's a funny thing, right? And these boundaries are a little looser for me. But what was I gonna say? Like, this whole thing too. It shouldn't be so. How do I put this? I just see this topic being talked about in a very glib way, and these are significant changes are not usually in history without its pain. So I wouldn't personally go around. I may be very understanding and, wow, have a bird's eye view and see, you know what? These people, they call them skinheads and all that, but, I see it all. I see it all. But I don't go around glibly saying, let's just have a civil war. Let's just segregate. I'm just the observer. I'm watching and seeing it, but these things don't happen without pain, right? So I wouldn't be so gung-ho like what I'm trying to say with that is just I see an immaturity, I think, with that. If you only knew, like as if I really know, I don't. But if you knew the implications, we must war for the preservation of our people. Yeah, like that may be a thing in life. a society. But when certain men make such claims, they know the deepness of what they're saying, of what they may wrought upon the earth, right? Upon their people. It's not a little thing, right? So that's why I stay out of such things. Huh? Like, I look around at the men around me, around the men, and I'm like, we got to work on ourselves. Like, what are you doing running around talking about civil war? You got to work on yourselves. You know, I was telling you about the Pete Hegseth and the wives and the weakness. It's a significant thing. It seems like everywhere I look, you could be tough, you could be Christian, you could be a military guy, but women run the show, and it's a nasty thing. If you see the spirit behind it, you would see that it's not nice. It's got a mask on, and it's underneath it very nasty. You can have it even with Republican conservative women. I was telling you about Nancy Mace, and it's like, I told you guys, I have powers. I'm joking around about Nancy Mace. Now she's on Sean Hannity talking about the viral video of her at the heated store conversation. And now it's a topic. People are talking about it. I told you guys, Nancy Mace is a feminist. And I showed you those videos where she was out there in the world and talking to some gay guy. Well, I don't know if he was gay. I don't even know. He was some guy with a voice. And she's like, I support a gay marriage, you know. He's like, what's that got to do with me? Everything about me has to do with gay marriage? And she's like, yeah. Essentially, the guy was asking her if she's going to have town halls. I don't know how aggressive it was before this moment started, before the video we saw. But she has her phone. She's like, yeah, I'm going to have more town halls. Stop harassing me. He's like, I'm just asking you questions. I don't know why you got to make it this thing and take out your phone. Blame to be thrown around. But I sure didn't, like, if all these conservative accounts, yeah, Nancy Mace, standing up for women, standing up for what's right. So now she's on Sean Hannity, and she's describing what happened. And I'm like, man, this is what I mean. This is what I've been trying to say. About them remaining unrepentant about their judgment upon men, the world. Because it's more than that, right? Anybody who has judgment, it's not even that deep and complicated like they think they are. Like they think anybody who has anger and judgment swears their story is so deep and justified and complicated. Like they got all the story right, and it's because this and that happened, and it's not. Okay, people with anger and ego and judgment, they think they could justify like they see the full picture. Wow, the story of men and women and the patriarchy and you see the lattice, you see the crystal lattice of this construct you've created. It's like, wow, men are at fault. Like, how do I put this in? And it's not that at all. You're just angry. You're just a hateful person. So it's not even men that she hates. She hates God. She hates her parents. And so you got to understand the spirit behind this. So Sean Hannity's talking to her about this situation, about this. And I showed you the video yesterday. I think they'll show it here. And just watch this a bit.
All right, so it was probably the biggest viral video of the weekend. South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace posted this now infamous video online after a man who is allegedly one of her constituents confronted her while she was shopping. Take a look.
I do them every year. Every year. You want to keep going? Do you want to keep going and keep harassing me? You could have gone to a dozen town halls last year.
I asked if you're doing any more this year. It was one simple question.
Yeah.
Are you doing a town hall?
I've already done one. I'll do plenty more.
Are you doing any more this year? It was a simple question.
You're always invited.
Okay, sweet. We'll look
and
out
by
for
the
an
way,
actual invitation.
I voted for gay marriage twice.
What does that have to do with
So
me?
I'm just saying, it has to do everything to do with you.
Do you think everything about me has to do with gay marriage?
I do,
That's
absolutely.
your first stance when you speak with me?
Because you people on the left are crazy.
So I'm
You're
on the left.
absolutely
You people on the left, that's
crazy.
I'm absolutely
You are. And get out of my face. Goodbye.
You're insane.
You're gonna Me? You're
Yep.
gonna be voted
Bye.
out so fast this year. I
I'm
can't
not.
wait for you to
Not.
go into
I won
the
by so much.
You're a disgrace to this state. That's what you are. You're a disgrace. I asked you a simple question, and you just to go on this tirade and tell me you.
Yeah, you.
Disgusting.
Get out of my face.
You. How about
Get out of my face. Try it. What's your name? What's your name? What's your name? Yep,
Try it
that's your-
again or get out of my face. Which one is it, Nancy Mace?
First thing you're gonna say to me is
Are you threatened or are you trying to fight him? It's unclear.
Absolutely. Get the out of my face now.
Get out of my face. What's your name? Come back here. Get out of my face. Come back here right now. You tell me what your name is. Get out of my face. Yeah, that's right. Get out of my face. So, okay, Sean Hannity.
Just a peaceful weekend afternoon going shopping, right? In a post on Facebook, the man in that video said in part that he won't apologize for speaking up or for publicly asking a politician to do her job. Here with her side of the story, Congresswoman Nancy Mace. Congresswoman, well, apparently you've had a very eventful weekend. Apparently there's another video I was just told you might have put up, but
don't worry, we played it too.
Let's go to this video in particular. What happened? What was going on behind the scenes? And how did the issue of gay rights come up in that conversation?
Well, right.
Great question, Sean Hannity.
I just wanted some face wash. That was it. I went to the store. I had a little bit of time to myself on Saturday afternoon, want to go shopping like I do. I'm a normal person. I do my own grocery shopping. And this guy approached me, and I will tell you, I felt threatened. I felt harassed. And I will tell you, as someone who's experienced trauma in her life, and a lot of women will understand what I'm talking about, when some guy gets in your face and approaches you in the aggressive manner that he did, and you feel like you're in danger, instinctively, as women who've been through trauma, who've survived sexual assault, survived domestic abuse, you have two options. You can fight or you can flee. And Sean, I'm a fighter, and I've never should back down from a fight. I will stand my ground like any strong woman.
Are you scared or are you trying to fight? I'm a fighter. I'm going to stand my ground, but he was aggressive and I'm in danger. I'm in danger. Nancy, you see those shorts. Did not feel in danger at all. You saw those shorts. You saw that hip cock, meaning like the way he's standing. I don't know if I'm misusing language. I don't know. I'm feeling nervous all of a sudden. You saw that, Nancy Mace. You weren't threatened. You weren't threatened. You weren't threatened. You were like gay marriage. And she's not answering the question. Notice, how did gay marriage come up? Let's see if she answers the question.
And should. And I will tell you, this was the third incident I had last week alone. The incidences of threats, the threat of violence, the people coming up and harassing me in public has increased exponentially over the last 6 months since I came out, standing up against the trans community, standing up against men in women's dresses. And I just had an event at the University of South Carolina about an hour ago. I wrapped it up, and a man in a dress picked up a potted plant and acted like he was going to throw it against me. I just posted that video on Twitter. You can follow it at Nancy.
She has not answered the question.
Nancy Mace or Nancy.
How did gay marriage come up, Nancy Mace?
Mace.org. You can find it online. But my security team thought he was going to throw the plant at me because
It'd be so funny if she was just like, I don't know. He sounded gay and stressed out. He sounded gay and stressed out. That's honest. That's the honest truth. That's the honest truth, Sean Hannity. Sean, that's the honest truth. He sounded gay and stressed out, and he was stressing me out. That's just the honest truth, Sean Hannity. There was no other reason, because I don't know. I don't know what he is.
The word babe, he was offended by it, and then I used the word trans, and he was more offended by it. But the lunatics on the left, they're dangerous, and women need to stand up for themselves. And I was the first member of Congress to say, I'm going to hold the line for women and girls everywhere. And since that time, the amount of aggression that I've had from mentally ill men, from men in dresses, from men approaching me in public like this guy, this Daisy Dukes guy, the short shorts guy.
So, laying it on thick, Nancy Mace. But what can I say? She kind of has a little history of, honestly, kind of outbursting here emotionally. And, that was not a pop, more of a fade. But Nancy Mace here. What was I going to say? What was I going to say about Nancy Mace? You see this, right? You see her whole shtick is about, it's a feminist shtick. She's a Republican. Supported on this Sean Hannity show. Gallivanting around in politics. And I've yet to see a single man tell her that her behavior is ridiculous. That her behavior is absolutely ridiculous. But that's, the same goes, honestly, for all the MAGA Republican firebrand ladies. Lauren Boebert. And here's the thing. Lauren, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and probably maybe even Nancy Mace, in some ways, maybe it's really kind of a show of how low the bar is, maybe. That's another point. But in some ways, they may have shown themselves to be maybe even useful or great in this way. Maybe more Lauren and Marjorie than Nancy Mace, honestly. Nancy's nuts, in my opinion. Nancy is wacko nuts with the way she talks about this stuff. And being attacked out in public. This behavior is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This guy was not she has made no claims of the moment before the video, and she wasn't attacked or anything. He just came up to me aggressively. And you know how men are, and they go up to women aggressively, right, ladies? Like, you know what I'm talking about. And now she's all over her social media asking men to support her in this crusade against men. Now, where was this? But she's all over her ex, going like, women are threatened about blah, blah, blah. So stand with me, so blah, blah, blah. So she's using this crazy emotional moment where I think she played a part in, absolves herself totally, and goes on a media crusade to get all these conservative men to support her in her fight against men. This is ridiculous. So, gallivanting around, what a mess.
This was the third incident I had last week alone on me prior to this. And space, I'm up to me and is aggressive in public or private. Inherently, I'm going to fight back. I'm going to stand my ground.
And making a show too. It's such a show where she's like, I'm going to make a fight. I'm fighting because I'm brave, like a woman, stand my ground, but I'm in danger. It's the classic lies of the women in the world. It's terrible. Because the lie is so much bigger. The lie is built on this deep lie that a lot of women just assume, in the same way that black people assume. This oppression, it affects you. It shapes your thinking. It turns who would generally otherwise been fine people, like consider Carmelo was like in school, like has two parents in the household, like he would have been fine, but you're mad, and the world tells you there's racism. And I don't know exactly what happened with Carmelo, right? And the world defends you and says, look at all these racist mad people. Like, I know you stabbed him, but look, this is crazy, man. This is a crusade. You're a hero. In the same way, women go around with this, you could call it chip. This chip is anger. This chip is evil. And that's what Nancy Mace's thinking is like built on. This is like Castle of Lies. Men are weak. Yeah, men are weak. They're out there maybe cheating. Some of them are beating, raping. What are men actually doing out there, though? For real. To justify this crusade. They're wearing dresses now. So anyways, what else about this? You seen this? You seen that woman? Give him a ticket. You seen that video? And I don't know if this is old, but this is going all over X. That woman who got arrested. She got arrested, basically. Not arrested, but she got a ticket, basically. And then she didn't like how the cop was driving, not using turn signals. She followed him all the way back to the police station. The cop, she's had like miles to calm down. The cop gets out of his car to approach the lady he just gave a ticket to, wondering what the heck is she doing, following him all the way back. And she is mad, telling this other approaching officer to give this effing officer a ticket. Why do I have to follow all the rules?
I have to follow every fucking law, but that fucking faggot can leave the fucking scene without a turn signal. Give Give him a ticket!
Do you need an ambulance?
He doesn't have a third ticket! Give him a ticket!
Do you need to go to the...
Let him go and get a ticket! He can do whatever he wants!
Okay.
Give him a ticket!
Okay. Can I help you with anything else?
Get her an ambulance. Put her in a straitjacket. This person's out of their mind.
Okay, come on!
It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen.
Anything else we can help you with tonight?
Yeah, giving him a ticket!
All right, it's not...
You know that's Satan, right? You know that's literally the anger anybody feels. When you're feeling anger, when you're offended, this is you.
Not gonna happen.
What the f does he get to do whatever the fuck he wants for?
I just want to know, are you okay?
Oh my gosh. And then she goes off on this diatribe about men. Like, check this part out. Where is it? About effing pigs. Maybe in the longer clip about effing pigs who get to shoot people and men and something about men and stuff. That's the same with like black people. You understand what's happening? Anger and brainwashing and lies. Brainwashing and lies. Like, how else can you... She would normally have been fine in school. Normally have been fine. But a brainwashing lie predicated on this castle of lies built over and hyped and stretched for the gain of a few has brought her down this road of anger to act out in such a crazy way. And that's anybody with anger. But anyways, folks, 888-775-3773. Anybody know about drain kinks? Are you familiar with a kink known as draining? I'm sorry to have to educate you folks. I'm sorry to have to open Pandora's box in your face in this way. Many of you would have wished to have kept a purer heart and mind, but you're watching the Anchor Baby. Okay, and this is real life.
4.2K in an hour, literally just telling a man to send me money over and over again. No nudes, no memes, no explicit content. Let me show you. So this is our Apple Pay drain. This is when we had to move to Zelle because his Apple Pay declined. And then this is the text of him saying, this is what I have left, and me telling him to send the rest. Don't worry, y'all, he had an extra 10K he was cashing in tomorrow. But the whole point of this is he wanted me to do this. What I'm showing you is a role play called a drain that is involved in financial domination, K-I-N-K. There's literally a whole niche.
Oh, she doesn't say that word? I said the whole darn word. I thought that was normal English. K-I-N-K, I can't say that.
Of spicy work that revolves around you draining men's bank accounts, being kind of a bratty Regina George or a mystic, like, goddess, like, matriarchal figure, and, like, telling men to drain their bank account for you. And that is the role play they want. They don't want to meet you. They don't want your nudes. They want you to dominate their finances. And I have made over $750K in 4 years now. You can make up to $5 to $30 to $40K a month, all from your phone, all with your clothes on. And if you want to learn more, comment Brat or go to the link in my bio.
Comment Brat or go to the link in my bio. Okay, girlies, join my Hustlers University. You know, it's so funny. Hustlers, what is it? What was it? Andrew Tate and his Hustlers, what is it? Hustlers University or something? Like, guys, I'm going to teach you how to just, you know, make money, work on your life, get that girl, any girl you want. This freaking freak, this freak who's sex trafficking, you freak woman hater. And guys, you know, look, I got proof. Look at all these girls who love me. Sign up for my university. You freak. Hey girls, click my link in bio. I'll teach you how to drain K-I-N-K these men and get money. But honestly, can you blame her? Can you blame her when something is that available? Here, let me take that back. What do you mean about can you blame her? There is a part where you can, right? We all are responsible for our own lives. And even in this situation, you see how there's a drug dealer and a drug user, but both parties can walk away at any moment, right? Both parties are playing their part. And so she could walk away too, right? That being said, there's a deeper story. It's a deeper story. Men are making it available. And you got to consider this, the real society we live in, not when we're told on the TVs and the screens about love and what is love, and it's just like everyone's great in love. Just underneath it, you see the underpinnings, the DNA of it. which Kanye West even tried to reveal in a way, right? With Cousins. In a sense, you could say that he attempted, in some way attempted that. But it's abnormal, the world we live in. And is dressed up so pretty and nice. And she's probably not even like, I'm really not getting that personal with it. Seems like a business-minded individual, I gotta say. I don't know what to say. No, I don't support it. She could walk away at any moment. But you see the situation we're in is abnormal, promoted, glorified, sexualized, all the sex stuff glorified. And whose world is that? Let's be real for a moment. Who wanted this setup? Yeah, men and women wanted this setup. But what's the? They all agreed, right? Men and women wanted this setup, but women wanted this setup. This is the woman's setup. To be liberated and allowed to use her sex any way she wants. They call that her power. They call it love. They call it all these things. But if this is the woman's setup, ergo, women are evil. Now you understand what I'm getting at when I say that. I'm not saying individually, personally, get real personal about it. You who's listening to me, I know plenty of women come to church. I mean, they're working on themselves for real. Leaving the men in the dust sometimes, I gotta say. But if this is society, as I've described, and it's just like an accepted thing, and your average woman is just like, yeah, this is fine. Ergo, women are evil. And men are their weak little dogs. It's a terrible situation, but that's just a more accurate way of putting it. So anyways, and that's just an extreme example, right? I'm sure there's other things. Not everybody's got even the money to get drained like that, right? But don't even say that, kids. Let's move on from this terrible stuff. Bye. Liesel, nice to see you in the chat. You know, the spirit. Ergo, women are evil. Ergo, the spirit, to be even more accurate. Ergo, the spirit, the driving force, the spirit behind women is evil. Let's be a little bit more accurate here, right? And it's clear that it's not women when you see them overcome it, when you see them kind of like drop it or just question it. Obviously, it has to be something else within them, if that's the case. So let's move on here. What else about this? What else about this? It's a funny thing about addiction, if I may, actually. Since we're on this topic, rambling a bit. Kanye West talking about his mess, but describing a world that many grew up in. Think about the sexualized world. But I am thinking a bit, now I'm thinking a bit about like addiction and even this concept, returning to the Father. You know how it's so funny how deep that is actually. Over the years, thinking about that, thinking about returning to the Father. What the heck is that? And, it just kind of hit me, honestly. And honestly just kind of hit me. On addiction and people calling me sometimes. How do I deal with this? How do I get better? And it's funny how deep that sentence is, that phrase, that concept, returning to the Father, how true it is that that's the answer. Like, what is returning? Like, returning to the Father is returning to sanity. Have you ever thought about this? Like, you're insane and out of order, and you don't even know it. We don't even know it. We have no clue. We have no clue. Like, I used to think of myself. The way I saw myself, I'm trying to look at a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old Nick. And at that time, I saw myself as not how I was. That's for sure. I thought I was way nicer and cooler and level-headed and just like a much better person within than I thought. But I wasn't. Like everybody, you have a mind that's crazy. And over time, you don't notice. You're judging. You're out there judging. You're out there judging. Like this and that and this and that. And you're not this good person. You're kind of insane. And returning to the Father is seeing this insanity. Returning to the Father is seeing this insanity. Seeing how desperate you are for love, how much you need to feel better. How much you need to feel better, how important that is to you. You know, you'll even have people who say, and this is not a condemnation, it's like just how deep it is, this phrase, returning to the Father, because you'll have people say, yeah, I am evil. You're right, I am evil. And they'll sit there waiting, in a sense, to not be evil. Just waiting, it's just, I am evil. And so I'll just wait, but never seeing that them even saying out loud, I am evil, is part of that evil. They are absolving. Not everybody does this, right? It's a spiritual thing. Just because you said these words doesn't mean you're doing it. But I think if you're out there and this is you, you'll know what I mean. Because even just saying those words can absolve you, because you're saying, I am evil, and you absolve yourself in this way, and you never see how that was another way to not feel the pain. Oh, I'm just evil, and so now I'm being vague. I hope this isn't too confusing, but you really do want the life you have. And returning to the Father is seeing this insanity, and it is, I gotta say, is the answer to this. Anyways, whatever. We got a call here in the last few minutes of the show. You're reaching out to the world. You're crazy and insane, and you don't even know it. And if you saw how insane you were, that would by itself work for you, and you would just not want to be so insane. But you got to see that. And that's like returning to the Father. One of those things. It is the answer to addiction. It's like that commercial. It's like that commercial that plays on JLP. What does he say? It's actually so good when you think about it. He says, returning to the Father. I can't remember, but whatever. Dennis out of New Jersey, appreciate your call. You're on the air.
Hello, Nick. How you doing?
All is well, sir. Thanks. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, this was basically I told your moderator that I wanted to call up to talk about capitalism and how it's like getting out of control.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, initially, capitalism is supposed to be a medium of exchange when it comes to the dollar. It's so that people can trade goods and services for dollars. But what worth is this dollar that we're all working for if a girl can just get on the internet and making dollars just by talking to some lunatic on over the phone?
You bring up I think you bring up a good topic here, because I mean, essentially you're getting at what kind of economy is that?
Yeah.
What kind of economy is an economy that, yeah, you could say it's a service-based economy, but what is an economy? Is it an economy just numbers in the air, digital money being switched between some online prostitute and a guy, but what are you making? What is an economy? Is that what you're kind of getting at?
Yeah. So if how much money you have is based on your worth, or or the worth of the things that you're doing, how is the value of her just talking to some lunatic on the telephone more valuable than the work that a fireman doing, putting out the fires in California? How is that like?
Or even making stuff, manufacturing. Like, you bring up a good question. I don't know the answer, but I think it definitely brings down the credibility of an economy, especially if the driving things of an economy. What are the big things that America, in a sense, exports and makes? So you got like the tech world. Yeah, they make iPhones, they make things like that. But beyond that, we have services. Yeah, I don't know. You bring up a good thing. I don't know. I think it does harm the credibility of an economy.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to. I think the capitalist society might be coming to an end pretty soon. We might have to go back to bartering or something like that because this is way out of control. It's like you're going to have like a middle class, slave culture in this country where you got the middle and lower class. They're working their butt offs for basically crumbs, while you got like a certain group of people making tons of money and hardly doing anything else, anything at all.
Oh, and you're saying that scenario would basically be a breakdown of capitalism.
Yeah, it's breaking down. I think when it initially, began, capitalism, when it initially came to the United States, and during, I suppose the Industrial Revolution, it made sense. You had, had a family, and a man could, go to work and earn money for his family so that he could buy a house and supplies for his family, while your kids went to school and learned. And that made sense. But now it's to the point where, what is that anymore? No one has to get up and go to work anymore. You can just, be like a
YouTuber,
or a
TikToker, OF. Yeah. Yeah, you bring up an interesting thing. I really don't know the answer. Part of me sees the population's growing and economies becoming so robust in a way that it has allowed people to make money in ways that you never knew before, and in a lot of entertainment ways, in ways that don't seem like you're building stuff. But another part of me also sees the scam that has been played on America to pilfer their goods and their services and the manufacturing and all this stuff being made in America. That's why I like what Trump is doing, right? I think he's trying to undo all that. So I don't know. I don't know if it can last. I don't know if it can last. I don't know how much longer, but you bring up questions I don't have the answers to.
Chinese people for the communism, but they don't have that problem as bad as we do. Whereas though
you say where
people are just on the internet doing all kinds of dumb stuff and making money, they're actually staying gainfully employed.
Yeah, interesting stuff, man. You bring up questions I do not have the answers for. What do you?
Can I ask you one last question?
Of course.
Hey, what made you drove you into evangelism? I think you're an evangelist, because you always, preach returning to the Father and the spirituality. What drove you? What motivated you to become like that?
I don't know. I don't even see myself as an evangelist. I don't know, man. I just want to speak about things that I see that are true. And sometimes I'll speak on things I may not exactly know, but they're still very, very interesting to me. But that's really what motivates me, especially on this show, to speak on just things that I believe are true. Passing along the message.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people all over the world that are spiritual and believe in God, but go around trying to influence other people to, believe in spirituality and God. I was just wondering what's the mindset of a person like yourself who.
That's a great question.
Who does that, for a living.
That's a great question, because I don't even see myself as wanting to spread and evangelize and change people's minds in that way. I just want to talk about things that I find entertaining, interesting, funny, and true. And to anybody who will listen, they'll listen. And it turns out, you bunch of wackos want to listen to the Anchor Baby every day. So I keep it up, you know what I mean?
Yep. Whack on.
Let's go. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, Dennis. Right. Thanks for your questions and call me again.
All right.
888-775-3773. If you call in, because we're in the last few minutes, we may not have time for you. But thank you. Knit for Pope, hashtag Knit for Pope from Harmony with a super chat there. If people are asking me to be Pope, I'm hearing that out there. I'm hearing the rumors out there. Maybe just a couple people. But I'm hearing it out there. They're nominating Nick for Pope. I'm hearing anybody could be Pope. It doesn't have to be this, like technically anybody can be a Pope. Imagine Nick. Imagine the Anchor Baby. The voice of God. Wouldn't that be funny? I think it would be kind of like this. It would be, I think, a little bit like, I think it might be a little bit like the Omni King and Goku. It might be a little bit like that. Thank you, Liesel. Thank you, everybody, for the support. We've got more super chats. John Zimmer says, is the Carmelo saga a reboot of OJ miniseries and alike? Hate to feed those lost to their imagination. Nothing new. Life is simple. Death is complicated. John Zimmerman, a lot of those things are just kind of things I heard, mere memories that I saw on TV, didn't even live through. And I heard about it over life, over years. That's issue. Sometimes they bring up ancient situations, right? Don't they still talk about Emmett Till? But with some experience following the news and politics for almost 10 years, it honestly, Carmelo, it's more likely than not. Now it's like people are angry and there's some different trends going on, right? Like young white people kind of getting real racial. Which is like, I'm not against that. I'm against is the anger. I'm not against that. What I'm against is anger. And you know what angry people do? They blame. But so that's a little bit of a different trend. But honestly, John Zimmer, it'll just be another thing. It'll be another thing. It'll be a Trayvon, Zimmerman, Emmett Till, January 6th, Carmelo Anthony. It's just a story that people are going to make episodes about, protests, forget about, talk about, bring up decades later kind of thing. Honestly. All my supporters on Rumble, thank you so much. Right on, Jules, buddy. Hake, Deconstruct. Stretch your legs. You're enjoying it out there. No riffraff in the Rumble chat. Get out of here. That's the kind of woman that causes a wreck out of revenge. Jules Verns gets it. Or just causes a wreck because she has no emotional control whatsoever. Jules gets it. Okay, so what else here? Thank you, supporters on DLive.tv/Gorgonzola. Amazing. All right, so what else? Let's move on from all that. MAGA wives, Nancy Mace, Drain, Carmelo, blacks, whites. What else do we got here? What else do we got here? Look, I got something for you, actually. Exciting. Wake up. You fell asleep. I got crazy footage for you. Whoa! This is some crazy, never before seen footage, allegedly, being reported, of close range clashes between Israeli forces and Palestinian resistance fighters inside a building in Khan Yunis. Now, this is crazy footage. I don't know if it's in a world with video games, AI, and crazy things happening all the time. Maybe the significance is lost a bit. But we just never had a GoPro war like this. They call it the TikTok war. Now, they had GoPros and stuff. They had cameras strapped to their helmets over there in Iraq and all that, but not like this. Where we're getting full, like, this is a movie, but this is a real fight. We're getting full operations. We went through some of these on my show. But we're getting cut up video of operations from beginning to end. And it's just nuts. It is nuts to me. It is full-on fighting. And that's the thing about fighting, too, about war. As it stands, the prevailing academic, theories and all that war talk. This is how dirty it gets. Because you can have Air Force bunker busters, this and that, bombs, missiles, tanks. But to take a position to defeat an army, eventually you gotta have the soldiers meet. And that's when anything can happen. Because now you got individuals, and individuals could be cowards, individuals can be, And this looks like a scrappy fight. Now, I'm no professional. I don't know. I watch a lot of film. I don't know. I read a bunch of stuff, right? I'll tell you that, but it looks like a scrappy fight. Like it could be anyone's fight. And you know, these Palestinians, come on, let's be real. Like their whole anthem is Fideo, right? It's an anthem of revenge. These people grew up. They were molded by the dark, as opposed to merely adopting it, right? You merely adopted the dog. They were living in a hole called Gaza. So you know what I mean? Like when it comes down to fighting and meeting on the battlefield. So for those who are gung-ho, right? Put me on a helicopter. I'm trying to go to war, but not the music kind of tour, right? For those people, realize what you're saying here. Realize what you're really saying. Realize what you're really saying. It's not a game. Now, nobody's dying and getting shot here, so I've already went through the footage, so, you know. But they seem scared. They seem... What's that guy doing standing in the fatal funnel? Now, I'm no general soldier here, but if I'm playing Tarkov, I'm not standing in front of a doorway like that. I'm just not doing it. I'm just not doing it. When I stop standing in front of doorways like this, I stop dying so much in video games. I do some reading as well, okay, like military stuff. I don't really know. Anyways, exciting, right? I gotta go because we gotta vacate the studio. All right, folks, take care. Hope you enjoyed today's show. It's enough out of the Anchor Baby. That's all the super chats, calls, and topics for now. See you tomorrow for more American Anchor Baby, Bible Thumper Thursday on the JLP show, the rest of the network, and of course, American Anchor Baby. Take care. See you tomorrow. Peace.